All right, today we have Haley.
Hi.
Haley is going to tell us about her experience about HESI. So when did you start to prepare?
I guess in a way I kind of rationalize it as in when we started our comp overview class and we had all those like practice exams to do, that was in my mind starting to practice, but I didn't do much outside by myself yet. And only then did I really start practicing was when I finished my clinical, which was like at the end of March. So
the internship is really time consuming, like at least one whole day. Well, we will be at the hospital and there was no time for studying for anything. So
it was like even after just getting done with the clinical for the day, I was really tired the next day.
Yeah.
And even like trying to get other assignments that were due, it was just like
it's 12 hours.
Yeah.
And if you are busy constantly on your feet, you will be physically and mentally really tired.
Yeah.
When you get home, you only want to sleep. And that's my case. So we don't really have energy to study for the whole day, entire 24 hours.
Right.
At least in my case. I guess a lot of us are the same. And what are the resources you use for HESI?
So I just use again the book that we bought for
overview class.
So when we were doing like those practice exams, that was what I was using. And after I finished like my clinical, I tried to read out of the book, but it wasn't very helpful to me.
To me, it could be helpful because I know there are students reading the book and using that resource, but I'm on your side. I fell asleep very quickly when I read the book, so I couldn't use that book.
I'm definitely one that needs to do a lot of practice questions, and it's funny because Tatiana, she texted me one day and she was like, "Hey, are you using your best grade?" And I was like, "No,
What is that?"
Like I heard of it before, but I wasn't even sure if I could get it because there was financial concerns.
Yes,
too.
it is expensive.
So she texted me, and then I started getting a little nervous because I'm like, "Oh, is everyone in our class using it?"
It seems like it back then.
So thankfully, I was able to ask my dad, and he was able to get it for me.
Amazing
thankfully.
support. Thank you for that.
And so this was like 2 weeks before the HESI, though.
Oh my goodness! Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna like hardcore study, and that's what I did.
Of course.
So all I was doing was practice questions.
Yeah.
How
many questions did you practice?
I practiced a lot. I mean, like they had the exams with 160 questions, and I did like one once a day kind of thing. And yeah, I definitely did a whole lot though.
Oh, good. But you had a very tight time frame.
I did.
Too.
I did.
It's only 2 weeks. It's impossible too many. So, did you have a study plan?
Not really. But this is quite normal for me. Like for any exam, I'm quite poor with that, but it just works for me. So like I can just jump in and study whatever just comes that day.
That's a gift. That's a gift.
So yeah, I didn't have a study plan. I would recommend most people get a study plan, but this is just like I know me, of course, and how I work, and that's what works for me. So
I think you just knew it. You knew yourself good enough, so you didn't even bother. Because I heard a lot of people know that it is important to have a plan, but not everybody can stick to their plan.
Even just developing a plan was kind of daunting because it's like, where do I even start, kind of thing. So when I just jump in.
That's the real life, guys. That's a real life. So what did you do a week before your exam?
So again, I was like doing all those questions. That's all I was focused on, aside from any other assignment. I didn't do anything else. I just like really focused laser in on those.
Did you remediate on all of them?
Yeah,
that's good. That's really important. And maybe you felt a little bit rushed because you only had 2 weeks.
Yeah, I did. I was really stressed about it. I was like, this isn't going very well, but I just did what I could. So.
How about the day before exam?
The day before, I remember I woke up that morning and I did a quick exam and I finished it before noon and I was like, okay, I'm going to take the rest of the day for myself, and that's what I did. So I did something that I enjoyed, and then later that night I know we had our class come together for like a prayer, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't focus on any HESI, I just
Give
relaxed.
yourself a mental break.
Yep.
And also, did you have a good sleep at night?
I actually didn't. I didn't fall asleep at all.
Too nervous?
I tried to go to bed pretty early, but I was tossing and turning.
Yeah.
But thankfully, when I woke up, I actually felt pretty refreshed. I was kind of
that's good.
surprised. So,
And did you have time for breakfast? Did you bring any snack?
well,
drinks?
I ate before.
Oh, good.
I ate a snack and I drank some water. I personally, I didn't bring any snack to the exam because having my area cluttered is bothersome to me and it distracts me.
That's interesting.
But what I did do was I bring a mint and I like suck on it
Yeah.
during the exam.
Yeah.
That's just always been a thing. Like in middle school when they're practicing or helping us for like these meat tests, they'd always give us a mint, and so that was kind of my routine.
Yeah.
Always getting ready for exams. So.
How long did it take you?
How long did it take me for the exam?
Yeah.
I think it was like 3 hours.
3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you take a break?
No.
No. Did you mimic the environment before the HESI exam?
No.
You're a good exam taker. I can't stand. I can't sit down for that long. I have to stand up and move around.
Well, it's kind of like, even if I tried to mimic it, it'd be kind of difficult for when we're in the dorms and stuff. But it's just, I don't know, kind of when I get to the exam place, my mind is in the zone, so I'm like ready to tackle it no matter what. But if I'm in my own personal space, I feel too comfortable, so I can't simulate it very well.
Me too. Fall asleep quickly.
Yeah.
Did you bring any ear plug or anything to block out the noise? No. I remember our professor told us the day before HESI exam, bring your earbuds because there probably will be questions asking you, listening to the...
Yeah, I did bring those, but not like earplugs.
Right. I brought that, but I didn't have any question asking about identify any sound, but I used those earbuds as my earplugs.
Yeah, good idea.
It is helpful. So is there any tips exam taking time?
Right. I know for me, because we were all very nervous, but I remember going through it, and there were many times where I got to a certain question and I started freaking out a little bit because I'm like, this isn't going well, and I almost kind of lost myself, but then I was like, okay, no, stop, it's okay, calm down, took a deep breath, keep going. And it happened again. He was like, no, it's okay, calm down.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
So I just kind of had to talk to myself and, say a quick prayer and, it's helped me get through it. Don't get caught up in your anxiety, even no matter how you feel you're doing, because it won't help.
Right.
So
did you pass the first time?
yes.
Good. Praise God.
God's grace.
Yes. How did you feel right after you see your score?
So, interestingly enough, I saw my score and my heart started beating really fast, and I was like, wait, did I pass?
I couldn't believe it.
And then I looked at another, because there was like a lot of different numbers there.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, did I not pass? And then I was kind of like, oh, kind of bummed.
Yeah.
And so I actually went and talked with Professor Nalanganga because I was just confused, and I was like, I don't know what to
it's
say.
very confusing.
And so she's like, no, you passed. And I'm like, oh yeah, really? Seriously? And I was like, so I was so relieved, and I gave her a hug because I was just so happy.
Aww.
And she was super happy for me, and it was just relief. It was like, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
So what you wish you have done differently?
And I guess it kind of worked out for me, but I wish I had more time to study before because I did feel very rushed. But so I kind of wish I got my clinical done a bit earlier. but the circumstance.
That's also something you have learned from taking that exam, right?
Yeah, because there's just so much to go over. And another thing too is I felt I could have spent more time with God, kind of like, because I felt neglecting Him very much.
Because you're trying to get so many tasks done in one very short period. That's why it's going to be so beneficial if you can start early, and then you will have more time for classes, and you will have more calming Sabbaths, time to remediate and do meditation or do a prayer, worship, whatever with God. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. And do you have any other suggestions for? I know not all our classmates have taken this exam or have passed the exam. Do you have any word of encouragement for our classmates?
I mean, I'm not sure what else I can say that they probably haven't already heard, but do you remember that one professor who was our freshman year who was having difficulties getting into the nursing program itself, and she kept on trying and trying and trying, and she finally got in, and now she's a nurse. So I kind of think back to that. It's like, if I really want to do this, I'm going to make it happen, no matter if I encounter a few obstacles here and there, and whether it was like incredibly distressing to not pass the first time. Like, don't let that define I can't become a nurse. You just keep pushing forward, and if this is something you really want, you gotta go for it. And plus, God has brought you so far already, so you just gotta trust Him.
If you want it bad enough,
impossible it feels. So
if you want it bad enough, you will have it. For sure, you will have it. Do you have any suggestions for class 2022, the upcoming senior class?
I don't know. I guess as hard as it is, I think it's good to try and find time for yourself too, because you tend to neglect yourself sometimes. So I think it's important to, and like I did before in my exam, which helped me feel a little bit more calm going into it, was, I studied that morning the day before, and then nothing else the rest of the afternoon, and I felt better. So
Definitely take care of yourself. Drink a ton of water, have enough sleep, exercise, and do some outdoor activities, especially now during the pandemic. Just stay healthy. And I am a bad example because I didn't sleep enough and having headache every now and then. That is like an aftermath. Have you started to prepare for NCLEX?
Not exactly, because I wanted to finish with finals, but now that they're done, I'm probably going to go back to your best grade and continue to practice those, because HESI is supposedly harder than the NCLEX. So I'm like, well, if it's harder than the NCLEX, then it should be fine, right?
Did you feel the actual exam is equally hard as your best grade question, or easier?
Honestly, that HESI was very hard. I was like, I thought it was very challenging. I was like, this isn't going good. And I just didn't feel good about it. So not to say that your best grade was easy. I think they were equally challenging, but I was just surprised at how difficult it was. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but it's like, it was challenging. Sorry.
For sure, NCLEX will be a little bit easier than HESI. So you're going to use your best grade as your resource for NCLEX?
Yeah, well, that's definitely what helped me. So, and I think they also have like an extra thing where you can buy more for like NCLEX specifically. But I think I'll just use the resource that I have. So
that's a good way to combine your resource and save some money. Of course, that's a big thing for all of us.
Especially if you have like financial troubles.
Right.
So,
well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I'm sure that a lot of people will be benefit from your experience.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.